What happens next?
Well, first of all, Danny Ainge, the president of the Boston Celtics, needs to step up and do what he does best, and that's wheel a deal and make a deal done. Now, obviously, he doesn't have his friend Kevin McHale as an executive in Minnesota to deliver him somebody the likes of KG, but he needs to find a way to do something, because the reality is, even with a healthy Rajon Rondo, the Boston Celtics were in a world of trouble because KG is on the front line all by himself. Everybody keep talking about, and they think about, oh my goodness, somebody's 7 feet. Well, excuse me, KG isn't walking around as big as Charles Oakley or Andrew Bynum or Shaquille O'Neal. He's a relatively slim and slender 7-footer. You need some girth on your front line that wants to be down there banging and rebounding to help him out. That is what Danny Ainge needed to do prior to this Rondo injury. Now that Rondo is out, I'm not sure it matters. You have a situation right now where what change can you really make? Rondo's out with an ACL injury. KG has a no-trade clause with the new deal he signed over the summer. And Paul Pierce is the one tradable commodity you have, because he's only guaranteed 5 of his $15.3 million salary next season. So that's definitely tradable. But if you're not in a position to legitimately compete for a world championship, why would you want to trade the champion Paul Pierce, who deserves to retire as a Celtic, as one of the all-time great Celtics? Why would you want to make that move? So you're essentially stuck with what you have, because everything else is menial compared to what you need.
And Rondo's game and his relative way he's accepted is curious inside that clubhouse. They've been talking about moving Rondo at some point.
Well, listen, Rondo is one of the best point guards in the game. His problem, I've often said this, is as athletic as Derrick Rose, a healthy Derrick Rose, and Russell Westbrook is. And they're the most athletic point guards I've ever seen in NBA history. Let me say this to you. If Rajon Rondo ever developed a perimeter shot, a consistent perimeter shot, he would easily be the best point guard in the NBA. That has been his lone impediment. Nothing else. His defense is better than most point guards in the game. His decision-making is better than most point guards in the game. And his heart is bigger than practically everybody's in the game.
Which certainly begs the question, why then consider moving him? Because he has actually worked on trying to develop that outside shot. So he's not on the court yesterday. Let's find out what happened against the Heat. And with Ray Allen returning to Boston, that was going to be the big story. They did a whole video presentation for him, got a standing ovation.
He deserved it.
And they respect him, certainly, for what he did there. 30 seconds to go. He does what he's done so often, hit a corner 3, fading away with a guy in his face.
That's what Ray Allen does. That's why the Miami Heat acquired him, because you know he's Mr. Clutch. What Mike Miller did for you in Game 5 is what he do for you throughout the week.
He had 21, misses this shot with 14 to go. The ball comes out to LeBron. He's got it now, and the Heat need a 3. Good high pitch. I keep hearing LeBron never makes those.
Well, you don't hear that from me. I mean, you hear that from somebody who will remain nameless. His last name is Bayless. But anyway, that's the way it goes.
All right, he made it, so we're going into an overtime. He's got it again. Decent defense. Bosch with the board. Now 6 seconds to go.
Well, listen, you got Dwayne Wade in an ideal situation, one-on-one, and he wasn't able to convert. That's not a bad sign for Miami, but it's a bad thing if LeBron can't close and Dwayne can't close. It's an aberration. You don't worry about it. You just would have liked to see one of them do it.
All right, there's Rondo on the bench now for the second overtime. They were taking MRIs. They were trying to figure out what it was that was wrong with the ACL. Now they know it's torn. Pierce comes through. Boston up 1. LeBron's going to drive. Pierce is going to grab the rebound.
Well, listen, LeBron goes to his left, pulls up, fall away. That's usually when he struggles. A contested fall-away shot is not something he usually makes in those situations.
One last chance for the Heat. 5 to go. Wade. Shane Battier now has it. And as good as he is from the outside, couldn't expect that to go in. Boston a winner, 198. There's Doc and Rondo on the walk out. All right, so they win the game. Let's go with the Heat, who didn't win the game. Wade picks his dribble up there. LeBron and Battier are missing these shots. Last shot, your thoughts on the way it happened?
Obviously, it looked a little bit sloppy. It could have been a bit more fluid. You'd like to see Dwayne Wade taking that last shot. The only way you'd like Shane Battier taking that shot is if he's wide open, preferably in the corner. That did not happen. But again, the Heat have earned enough respect from us in the basketball world not to overreact to something like this. They're the type of team that would make those necessary corrections, and that's simply what starting to happen as the season wanes. I mean, it happened yesterday. It happened against a very experienced Boston Celtics team that's incredibly familiar with them.
You see the look on LeBron's face there?
Yeah,
they almost kind of like, they don't expect the lack of execution, but it's become familiar to them.
It's become familiar. It's not a good thing,
yeah.
But I have faith that they'll correct it because as far as I'm concerned, they're the best team in the game until proven otherwise. And the reality is when you have as many weapons as they have and you're trying to gel with one another and you're going up against a team who's incredibly familiar, not to mention desperate because Boston had lost like 3 straight, you're going to have those kind of situations from time to time. You learn from them. This is LeBron James, D. Wade, and all of those guys. And I've just learned that you don't overreact to regular season games.
Late
like
game
this.
stuff is execution.
Well, it is execution.
It's the coach. This always works for us. Here's what we're doing, ABC. They don't seem to know the ABC.
Well, again, it's not that they don't know it. At times, you try to defer. One time it's LeBron, another time it's D. Wade. You know, they key on D. Wade because they know they're getting the ball, and then all of a sudden he gives it to Shane Battier, who's in foreign territory. He's like, oh my Lord, I've got the ball right in this situation. I can't believe it. Let me throw it up there. So those kind of things happen. But ultimately, again, when you've got a big 3 like them, you acquired a Ray Allen. You saw what Mike Miller can do. You know what Shane Battier can do. And Eric Spoelstra has proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, to be a bright young coach in this game. You don't panic. You sit back, you chill out, and you say, you know what? It was cold. We were in Massachusetts. We're heading back to South Beach. We'll be just fine.
But as you said, you want to avoid the, oh my God, it's in my hand. I got to shoot it home.
Listen, you are talking to a guy that watched the Lakers win a championship after losing by 40 in Game 1 of a final. You don't panic. It's January. You chill and relax.
We're doing
against the South Beach. They're fine.
We can chill and relax.
That's right.
That's Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
You on Stars, we got him. All eyes on the Flying Tomato. Messi continues to amaze. Tiger in control. And Kobe steps up. Stephen A. Smith joins us live with more on that. Plus, there's a potential for Ray Lewis to enjoy a storybook ending, but he's not the only future Hall of Famer.